Welcome to this daily guided meditation practice. This is the Attentive Mind. My name is Nathan, and I'll be guiding you through this meditation practice today. Find yourself a seated position. The goal with the position is to find something that is both comfortable and sturdy. You don't want to feel like you're about to fall over with a sense of instability. You also don't want to feel uncomfortable to where you need to shift and move during the practice. It could be a distraction. So sitting in a chair works really well. You can even lie down if you really need to, although you don't want to fall asleep. Just find what works for you. Something comfortable and sturdy. Something where you could stay awake for the next 20 minutes or so and not fall asleep. We also keep our eyes open during this practice. However, if you have learned to practice with your eyes closed or you feel more comfortable doing so, go ahead and close your eyes. It's no hindrance, no problem. However, if your eyes are open, go ahead and just leave the screen alone and drop your gaze gently down below you, kind of glancing at the floor or the desk or whatever is just below you. We're not staring or analyzing at anything. We're also not zoned out and blurry. We just have a gentle, clear gaze directed downwards. You're in a nice, comfortable position, and your eyes are either closed or open and directed down. Just settle here, this moment. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do, and there's no one to become. Forget everything you think you know about what we're doing here. In fact, drop the idea of meditation itself. It's a useless concept. Forget your ideas about what you came here to do. Just notice this moment as it is already before you think about it. And I'm probably catching you thinking right now. I just interrupted a conversation you were having with yourself in your head. And it's really no problem that this conversation exists, only we get into trouble when we exclusively pay attention to it, when the only thing we are doing is thinking. It's why we begin to suffer. It's why life feels unsatisfactory. And so, a useful skill is to just learn to leave thinking alone and to let it do its own thing. We're not ignoring thoughts or pushing them away. We're not clearing our minds. Nothing like that. Simply noticing what thoughts are. Just thoughts. And having our attention somewhere else. Somewhere that's easy to pay attention to. Something that is only happening now. And that, of course, is the coming and going rhythm and sensations of the breath. Notice where your attention is right now. If you're normal, you feel that your attention is somewhere behind your eyes and in between your ears, kind of in your head. And you feel that it's you. We say our foot is further away from us than our neck because we feel to be in our head. See if you could drop this view, drop that sensation of being identified in the head down into the chest, into the abdomen, and down into the lower belly, below the belly button. And notice the gentle rhythm of the breath as it happens by itself. Notice how when the breath comes in, this lower belly area expands naturally. And as the breath goes, it relaxes all by itself. And we just notice this, not from some place above, like in the head, pointing direction down toward the breath, but we notice the breath in the lower belly from the lower belly. And we let thinking come and go as it pleases. Your only task is to remain with breathing, rising and falling. Come back. Come back to breathing. Leave thinking alone. Return. Return back to the breath as the breath. And maybe I'm catching you thinking again, or maybe not. But notice how it feels that there's some center here. Something that gets lost in thought but then returns to the breath. There's some seeming point of view that struggles, that has feelings, that feels to be a me, an I. And this is the one who sat down to meditate, the one trying to figure out how to leave thinking alone. But is this one real? The breath can be found. It can be seen with our attention and therefore verified to be here. But what about the one who notices the breath? Or rather, the one that notices the breath? The one that hears this voice right now? The one that has a story, a name, a me, an I? Turn the attention towards that. What is this I? Can it be found like the breath can be found? Look for the looker. What are you? And notice if you start answering this as thoughts, trying to think it through. That won't help. This question is to turn attention towards its source, towards where it came from. In the same way, we turn attention towards the breath. Not an answer that can be written down, but an experience to be understood. What are you? What hears this voice? Look carefully. right, you can look at the screen. This practice requires regularity. It really does. And I think a lot of us can fall into, well, I know I did this. This is why I say this, is looking at YouTube videos of people talking about spiritual stuff, non-dual awareness and, you know, just kind of collecting spiritual talks. And it's not a bad thing to listen to spiritual talks, but them in themselves are not it. Like me talking right now, this is the worst part of the meditation practice, is when I have to open my mouth. Now, I'm not saying it's horrible, it's good to have some explanation, but it's not it. It's not where you should be looking. This practice develops an affinity to see what it's like experience before thinking arises, before we start chattering about our experience. Like, oh, I think this is good. I think this is bad. I don't want to go here. This is but Sally said that. I don't think Sally's a very good person. Did you hear what Trump said? Oh, I think Biden's going to be really great. Harris is better. I don't know. Just when we're just always contemplating and having a conversation about reality, this practice lets us see before all of that stuff arises, what's here? The words, they seem so important to us because we've grown up this way. It's the only thing when we're taught in school, we have to obsess over words, symbols, manipulations. But this practice isn't words. So when we do this in turn, what is this? What sits here? What am I? Be careful at that moment because you'll notice your mind will start saying, well, I'm this kind of person. I don't look at, yeah, but I identify as this. And just start talking. But that's not it. Before thinking arises, what sits here? What are you? So don't collect spiritual talks. They'll make you feel good temporarily. And they are only useful if you put into practice what they say. Now, it's very good, I think, to hear from a wide variety of people in terms of this practice, because everyone responds differently. So it's good to listen to Joseph Goldstein, Sam Harris, Samanara Jayasara, Ajahn Brahm, a lot of different teachers of meditation. It's good to hear them all, not just sticking to one. But don't collect them and so you can put them in your bag and then talk about it later to other people. It's not going to help you. Experience is the teacher. Silence is the teacher. Before thinking mind is the teacher. Your mind right now is your teacher. That is where you look. In fact, you don't have to hear another word from anyone else if you only look, what am I? What sits here? Just breathing. Stay there. So don't be a spiritual teacher hoarder. Let them all go. Just practice. It's all that really matters. You just have to see for yourself. Then your words will reflect your experience. And you won't have to base it off of what somebody said. So you can tell your friends about this subject. No self. Did you know that you're not really a self? Be careful. Just practice. Thank you for showing up today. It's always an honor. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow.